Welcome, friends, to the 28th class of the Bhagavad Gita. We are studying chapter 3. In the last class, we studied from verses 16 to 21. And a little gist from those verses is Krishna says to Arjuna that a person who, after having descended from spirit into human life, fails to ascend back into spirit by walking on the path of good action, of righteous action and spiritual action, lives in vain. And then he goes on to explain that how the one who is settled in his own self, the one who is completely contented with the Atmic self, he is happy and satisfied and has nothing more to gain from this world, still continues to perform actions, although he has nothing to gain from the sensory objects or his sensations, but yet he still must and he works in this world to set an example for the others. And here he gave the example of King Janaka, about whom we heard a few stories last time. And then he said that every superior person should lead an exemplary life for the inferior person. So when we say superior and inferior, of course, we are not meaning the caste system at all. And of course, we are not meaning that, I have a superiority complex or someone has a superiority complex and then others, he should look at others inferiorly. What here it is meant is that a person who has higher wisdom, a person who has higher courage and confidence, a person who is closer to truth. So that is the way superior is meant here. That person, even after having understood the truth of this world, of that this is a dream drama and that his absolute existence is separate from him, still continues to work as an example for others. And here Master also said that not only in terms of person, but one should also understand that which faculty is higher, that the mind is higher than the body, the intellect is higher than the mind, and the soul is higher than the intellect. And following this protocol, the higher should behave in a way so that the lower can imitate. And then he brought us to shloka number 22, which I'm going to read now. Okay. न मे पार्थास्ति कर्तव्यं त्रिषु लोकेषु किंचन नानवाप्तमवाप्तव्यं वर्त एव च कर्मणि। हे पार्थ, मेरे लिए कोई कर्तव्य कर्म नहीं है, न ही मुझे कुछ अप्राप्त है। तीनों लोकों में मेरे लिए प्राप्त करने के लिए कुछ भी शेष नहीं है, तथापि मैं भी कर्मों को करने में प्रवृत्त रहता हूं। O son of Pritha, Arjuna, no compelling duty have I to perform. There is naught that I have not acquired. Nothing in the three worlds remains for me to gain. Yet I am consciously present in the performance of all actions. Now, this is a very beautiful verse. Now, in the previous verse, he has given the example of a person living on earth like King Janak. And then now he comes to himself and says that I too have nothing to gain from this universe. I too have nothing to gain from a specific action. And yet I am involved passionately in all actions. So here, although we say passionately means fully involved, of course, we know that God is transcendental. And so he can also stand away as a witness and yet be fully involved with all the action. So Master said that God has created this dream drama so that he can experience himself as many dream forms. So when he has created this dream drama, then of course he has to fully be active in it. So for example, if we see a movie on screen and we are seeing characters saying certain dialogues, playing certain roles and behaving in a particular way, we tend to get involved in the movie and subtly, especially when we are children, we have no idea that the entire movie is actually pervaded by the director. Why am I saying so? Because as we grow up, we understand that it is the director who visualizes the scene. It is the director who tells the actors to stand or sit in a particular way, to say the dialogues in a particular way. He sets the whole cinematographic background. He sets the whole scene of the movie and he sets the sequence of the movie. And the entire movie is actually created by the director in a sense. Of course, there are other people who are working with him or for him, but yet it is the director who pervades the entire movie. So even though the director is not directly acting here, yet we know that unless the director does a good job with the movie, unless he tells what to do, when to do, and how to do, the movie cannot come out to be nice. So therefore, this life that we are living, this dream drama, is also created by God. He is the director. The difference is that not only is he the director, but he's also the actor, he's also the lyricist, he's also the songwriter, he's also the screenplay, he's also the audience. So that's the different part, because he has divided himself into this dream picture. So he is pervading everything. And although he has nothing to gain out of it, because he is perfect bliss himself, yet once he has created, then he is fully involved in this creation. To explain this, shloka, master starts to explain from the infinite. He says that the infinite is present at two levels. Once creation is happening, then the infinite is present at two levels. One is the absolute vibrationless spirit level, and the other is, in creation there is vibration. So there is vibrational level and the non-vibrational still level. So similarly, he says the same thing is reflected in the human being. In the human also, we have the soul faculty, which is the vibrationless aspect of us. And then we have, of course, the body, the prana, the mind, the intellect, and all of that, which is present at the vibrational level. So from the vibrationless spirit has come the vibrational creation. And then this creation, so many multifarious forms are appearing in front of us. And because then this divided vibration is given limited sense organs, therefore it can perceive only part of the whole vibratory ether. And it cannot know beyond that. But it is because we learned to develop the sixth sense beyond the five senses, that we are able to understand that our existence is not limited by the body and the five senses, and then we can access the entire vibratory universe through techniques like the Om meditation techniques and the other techniques as well, but specifically through Om meditation. As you understand that the vibration of your body is continuous with the vibration of the surrounding universe, you understand this one entire common substratum of vibrations in which the entire creation is embedded. Now the thing is, he says that God knows that the vibratory creation and human beings, who are of course part of that vibration, have forgotten their source or their essence as the vibrationless existence, as the soul. Of course. And why do you think we forget? Now, it's very natural. Since we ourselves are vibrations, and life is also full of so many activities and so many waves of ups and downs, of failures, successes, of sorrows and joys, that once we are riding on those waves and continuously our senses are engaged in managing those waves or looking at those waves, or maybe sometimes diving into those waves, therefore we have no idea that the entire bosom of the ocean is also our existence. We forget that. You are simply surfing on the surface of the ocean. You are so involved with the senses, the sense objects, the outer activities, that you completely forget that there is an inner, infinite, vibrationless, absolute existence, which is made of bliss, which is full of bliss. So God knows this, because of course it is his creation. Therefore, he says that God sends his saints, his liberated saints, the prophets, the messengers, the gurus, the self-realized masters. They are sent so that man is reminded again what his true essence is and how to achieve back that true essence. So therefore, again, I thank Yogananda every day of my life for being there in my life. So we can thank the gurus and the masters for coming to our life and awakening us and saying, come on, look inside. There is this entire vast Brahman. So the meaning of Brahman itself is vastness. So it says, don't be limited to this little life that you are seeing through the senses or experiencing through the senses. Pause and then look within, and you will find the infiniteness there. You will find eternity there, and you can rest in your soul self there, away from this crazy vibratory existence that we have become part of. Okay. Master says, as the divine intelligence, God continues to work through man's conscience and through the prophets. He has given all men free choice to accept him or to reject him. He works secretly and through his saints, sweetly, to persuade alienated mortals to come back to him. I'm sure all of us can relate to this, that he works secretly, he works sweetly, because the way the Guru comes to each one of us, we can truly testify to the fact that he individually awakens his devotees and his disciples and awakens them to his presence within. He awakens them to God's presence. He tells how to find God, where to find God, what all to do, and then he takes us to our own eternal joy. So with that, we come to the next shloka, which is shloka number 23. Yadi hyayam na varteyam jatu karmanya tandrita mam vartmanu vartante manushya partha sarvasha. हे पार्थ, यदि किसी समय में निरंतर कर्मों को ना करूं, मनुष्य मेरे उदाहरण का पूर्णता अनुसरण करेंगे. O Parth Arjuna, if at any time I did not continue to perform actions without pause, men would wholly imitate my way. Of course, we all understand this. Let's take a very, very simple example to understand this. So suppose there is this very rich businessman. He has lots of money, and he doesn't need any more money, but he has time with him. He has possibilities of investments. His mind is creative, and he, of course, wants to do something with all of this. So what he does, let's say he opens up another company. So although he doesn't need to do this, but because of his available resources and because of his intelligent working mind, he says, okay, let me open up a company, and let's say he hires about 1,000 employees in that company. Now, if he's the boss or the CEO, then he has to, if to work properly, if he wants the company to work efficiently, and if he wants success out of the whole business, then he has to come on time. He has to work in an ethical way. He has to have proper behavior and mannerisms. He has to have discreet dealings. He has to have his targets set. He has to have his goals set. So all those things, the hard work, the sincerity, all of those things have to be in place if he wants to run the company successfully. And therefore, he has to become the example of the one who does like this. Otherwise, what will the employees do? They will just imitate him. So now just think of a funny scenario where there's this boss and who does not come on time. The time is 8 a.m., but he comes at 11 a.m. and then his dressing is also inappropriate, and then he's probably drinking in his office, and then he's abusing his employees, or he's creating a ruckus in the office, and he's throwing files here and there, no targets are being completed, and so on and so forth. What do you think the employees are going to do? The employees are going to follow suit. So that is why, that's what Krishna is saying here. He's saying, I am working to set an example, and the superior must always set an example for the inferior. And this has to be understood in each one of our lives, especially if we are parents. So we should remember that children may not listen to our commands, but definitely the children will imitate us. So for example, if we go to the temple and we have a small child accompanying us, and if in the temple we just go round and round, we do a lot of gossip with people, and we just come back, the child is going to do the same thing. But if the child sees that when you go to the temple, you bow down in front of the deity, or you probably light a diya, and then you probably take prasad, or you do parikrama. So as the child is growing, even without understanding the meaning of all the rituals that you may be doing, he or she does imbibe and imitate what you are doing. So naturally you will find as the child is growing up and you go to the temple, the child automatically bows down to the deity because you have set an example of doing such a thing. And even if you do not explain to the child why you need to bow down to the deity, it naturally comes to the child. So we must remember this, that we must create examples in our life. So there is no point in asking or commanding people to change it, asking or commanding children to change, but we must do first what we want them to do. And I'm remembering an example of a story from Mahatma Gandhi's life, is that a mother brought her child to Gandhiji, and the mother was complaining that the child has too many sweets. So she said, Gandhiji, why don't you tell my child not to eat so many sweets? So Gandhiji told her, no, why don't you come 1 week later? So 1 week later, the mother and the child came again. And this time Gandhiji told the child, listen, child, you should not have so many sweets. So the mother was confused. The mother said, why couldn't you just say this dialogue the last time we met? Why did you take a week's time? He said, because for 1 week, I tried not having any sweets. And it is only after having tried that and having experienced what it did to me, was I able to tell the child in true authenticity from the truth of my own heart that it is not good to have so many sweets. So these are examples around us that we can emulate to some extent, to whatever degree we are able to, and step by step and day by day improve and better ourselves. Okay. So again, in the explanation to this shloka, Guruji says that Krishna is saying that if I don't set an example of righteous action, of spiritual action, of the intent to do even material duties, then how will my children come back to me? Now let us remember shloka number 16, in which Krishna was saying to Arjuna that the children who have descended onto earth and they need to reascend the wheel of evolution, how did he say that they can do that? He said by right action. So unless this system is set wherein people perform their material duties and spiritual duties, go in the direction of dharma or righteousness, till then they cannot reascend the staircase of evolution into spirit, to freedom or to nirvana. Therefore, this entire system of karma, or the ladder of karma, or you can say the upward spiral of karma, has been set in such a way that when people will do right action, then they will be slowly uplifted through the wheel, and they will come back to God. So unless again God sets up this whole system and then he himself works through these actions, people will not be able to come back to him. Okay. Right. So let's move on with this. Okay. So another thing that Guruji explains here, he says that God has created this system through his prakriti, through nature, where souls who are now engrossed in nature, who working through their senses, the system through which they can reascend is of course karma yoga, and of course he has sent saints and prophets, but of course the fine system of free choice, of free will, that is implanted in everyone, and the milk cow of wisdom, which was mentioned in a few shlokas earlier, means the intuitive guidance, the inner voice of conscience has also been implanted within us. So we have all the faculties. Actually, if you want to go back to God, if you want to attain our freedom, we have all the set of faculties. We have a thinking, intelligent mind. We have an intuitive faculty. Then we have been given free choice, and we have been given a strong will. If we were to use all of these faculties in a proper way to understand this world first, and then to understand the nature of life, the nature of Prakriti, and then to go into higher understanding of our soul, so successively we will step up on the ladder of evolution, and we will be able to set ourselves free with the help of God and the guiding lights, which are the prophets and the saints and the gurus. Okay. Shloka number 24. Utsideyuri me loka na kuryam karma chedaham Sangakarasya cha karta श्यामुपहनयामिमा प्रजा। यदि मैं एक संतुलित रूप से कर्म ना करूं तो ये विश्व नष्ट हो जाएंगे। मैं अत्यधिक विभ्रम कर्तव्यों के अनुचित सम्मिश्रण के फल स्वरूप का कारण बनूंगा। इस प्रकार मैं मनुष्यों के विनाश का कारण बनूंगा। If I did not perform actions in a balanced way, these universes would be annihilated. I would be the cause of dire confusion, the improper admixture of duties. I would thus be the instrument of man's ruination. So Krishna is explaining more and more why firstly he's acting, then why he's acting in a certain way, and that why that example is so important. Otherwise, there will be confusion in this life. So to explain this, Guruji says that Krishna is saying, if I did not work through the lives of saints, balancing material duties with spiritual obligations, then humanity, in the absence of exemplary lives, would lead unbalanced lives. It would be confused about their duties and perish. So now just think of the time. Now let's take very simple example from our own life. Before we are initiated into a proper system of meditation, before the Guru came into our life, most of us were engrossed with the sense world. We were thinking, we were performing our material duties, but we were feeling confused, we were feeling lost. We did not have an idea of the real nature of life. We did not have the idea of the true purpose and direction of our life. And we had no idea about the fact that we are souls. Of course, we had read theoretically that yes, we are souls, that we are bliss, and this is all one, God is love, love is God. All that we had read theoretically, but in the absence of any experience of such a thing, we were feeling lost, we were feeling in darkness, and we were confused. It is only after Yogananda for us, and of course other gurus for other people, once the Guru comes into your life, he gives you a specific technique, he gives you a specific teaching, he tells you exactly how to harness the truth of the scripture. So if the scripture or the Bhagavad Gita says you are the soul, then it is because of the Guru that we can say, hence proved, yes, I know, I understand, I perceive, I can experience myself as the vibrationless soul. I can experience the joy of my own being. I now know, because of my Guru, I now know what should be the direction of my life, what is the purpose of this life that I am living, and how should I organize the rest of my life so that I can achieve this goal of self-realization or God realization that has been put in front of me. So it is very, very easy to understand that unless these saints are here, unless these saints tell you that you must do your material duties, you cannot run away from the world. That you must also do your spiritual duties. We would do certain material duties, but we wouldn't know how much of those duties should we do, and with what attitudes with which we should perform those duties, which will take us to freedom. So the Guru comes and shines a light on your life. He shows you the path towards freedom. And if that does not happen, if no saints, no guiding lights are come, then of course everybody will be confused as to what their true duties are. And talking about the fact that in this shloka it is mentioned that there will be dire confusion, means improper admixture of duties. So of course we know that there are people around us who have the very basic physical tendencies, who are completely body bound and have not cultured their knowledge and wisdom. So he says that all those people should eventually step up to higher levels. So people who have only body bound inclinations should start to look out for knowledge and wisdom. People who are having some knowledge and wisdom should come to the level where they should understand that the battle of Kurukshetra is happening inside of them, and they should have the courage to fight that inner battle and to defeat the senses so that they are not slaves to those senses anymore. And once they have gained some level of control over their senses, once they have gained certain amount of knowledge and wisdom, then they should actually step up further and to go attain spirit as their, as their source. They must attain self-realization. So all these stepping up actions we should do. So wherever we are, whatever station of life we are, or whatever we are in, whatever profession we may be, we must look at what next can we do to set ourselves free. And when we see the example of lives lived by these great saints and masters, we have an easy path to follow. When God realized gurus come in our life, they already have a clear set path. You don't have to, dig out 10 holes to find water. As Ramakrishna Paramhans would say, he would say, if you want water from the ground, you will start digging a hole in the ground. And if you, after 5 feet, if you say, oh, there is no water, then let me dig another hole. And then after 5 feet, you say there is no water, and you dig 10 holes like this, you will still not get water. Had you stuck to the first hole, which you knew, which was guided to you that, yes, this will give you water. If you were persistent and perseverant in that, and you probably went 10 feet or 15 feet in the same place, you would have found the water. And that is what is said, that once we have a God-given guru in our life and the path has been shown to us, then it is up to us whether we are practicing the teachings, we are practicing the techniques that have been given to us, or are we still window shopping here and there? Or are we still thinking that some magic will happen? Are we using the magical key? It appears magical, or I would say scientific key of meditation that has been given to us, which has the possibility and the potentiality of opening the door to truth, to infinity, and to our unconditional happiness. If not, let us use that key. Let us use that key more often. By longer, deeper, guru-given meditation comes the celestial samadhi. If we are looking to have that experience of samadhi, and we are looking for that unconditional love and joy, then we might as well practice those techniques sincerely. And Vivekananda would say, he would say, an ounce of practice is greater than tons of theory. And Yogananda ji has said, he said 1 hour of very deep meditation is greater than a lifetime of study, of theoretical study of the scripture. So of course, we are studying this scripture because it is showing us a guideline, but don't forget the role of meditation, because it is only by deep meditation, when we go into the depths of our own intuitive understanding, that we are able to get anything out of the scripture. So please meditate regularly if you aren't already. And if you are meditating regularly, increase the time, increase the depth, increase the intensity, and increase the yearning which you have for freedom, which you have for this unconditional joy, which is your birthright. Okay. If God removed his cohesive intelligence, all universes and beings would disappear from objectivity, just as the scenes and actors vanish from a screen when the light running through a film is shut off. So then Master is explaining here that it is God himself who is vibrating. God is the light that is shining. And if his role is removed, then everything will just vanish, which it vanishes when the night of Brahma comes and the entire creation is drawn back into God. But as long as we are in creation, there is this created universe, this drama is going to continue, and yet that inner life is also going to continue, stepping on which you can gain your own soul freedom. So we come to shlokas number 25 and 26, which have been dealt together. 25. Sakta karmanya vidvanso yatha kurvanti bharata kuryadvindvastatha sakti chikirshu lokasagraham. 26. Na buddhi bedam janyeda jnanam karma sanginam joshayet sarva karmani vidvan yukta samacharan. In Hindi, हे भारतवंशी अर्जुन, जिस प्रकार अज्ञानी जन आसक्ति तथा लाभ की आशा से कर्म करते हैं, उसी प्रकार ज्ञानी जनों को निष्पक्ष अनासक्ति के साथ कार्य करना चाहिए। जन साधारण के मार्गदर्शक के रूप में सहर्ष सेवा करनी चाहिए। 26. किसी भी परिस्थिति में ज्ञानी जनों को कर्मों के प्रति आसक्त अज्ञानी व्यक्तियों की समझ को अशांत नहीं करना चाहिए। इसकी अपेक्षा प्रबुद्ध व्यक्ति को भली भांति कर्मों को करके अज्ञानी जनों में सभी कर्तव्य परायण कर्मों को करने के लिए इच्छा प्रेरित करनी चाहिए। 25 in English. O descendant of Bharata Arjuna, as the ignorant perform actions with attachment and hope of reward, so the wise should act with dispassionate non-attachment, to serve gladly as a guide for the multitudes. 26. Under no circumstances should the wise disturb the understanding of ignorant persons who are attached to actions. Instead, the illumined being, by conscientiously performing activities, should inspire in the ignorant a desire for all dutiful activities. Now, this verse, especially the verse 26, is an important guidance for all of us. Let's understand the first verse out of these, means 25 verse. And in that verse, Krishna is saying that the worldly man works mainly for his personal desires, attachments, longings, cravings, and so on. And these can be different, like material prosperity, it could be name, it could be fame, it could be power, it could be simple sensory pleasures, and so on. And he is basically set up in a cycle where he is wanting, because he gets some sensory pleasure or some level of satisfaction doing all of this. He is caught up in this web where he wants to do more of this, or he wants a variety of this, and this is because he has forgotten his soul nature. He's forgotten that he is the blissful self, and because he is gaining some fraction of satisfaction and pleasure from these outward activities, he gets attached to these activities all the more. On the other hand, a person who is wise, a person who has developed spiritual understanding of his true nature, this person is still, he works in this world, but he works with dispassionate non-attachment, that you're doing your best, but you are not attached to the fruits of action, and you have no specific expectation from this work. And because such a person is already happy in his heart, because he has touched his own soul self, he knows he is the blissful soul and he is playing a part. Therefore, he has nothing to gain. That little satisfaction that he will gain from the worldly task is not necessary for him. And that is why this person is not trapped in worldly duties, although he performs worldly duties because he must, as an example for others. So that is one thing to understand. A beautiful explanation that Master has given us is, and we must hear it out very clearly. He says, acts of creation are not necessary for the perfection of an already perfect God. Creation, therefore, is a hobby of God. He is blissful with it or without it. All his children must learn to work in the world with that same divine attitude of non-callant interest. Now, how many eyebrows will be raised when you say that this world is a hobby of God? But if the master is saying so, and all Upanishads will eventually say so, in one of the commentaries on the Taittiriya Upanishad, I was reading, it said that this is time pass for God. Again, a hobby for God. And we take it so seriously. So master has some serious advice for us, serious and yet comic advice for us. Now he also says that because this is a hobby of God, that this does not mean that the poor man should not be ambitious for prosperity, or the sick man should not aim to have good health, or that one should seek health and prosperity, but without being affected in the heart too much. So basically the involvement of the chitta, the involvement of the emotions is what should be controlled. Of course, when if you are playing the role of a poor man, and of course there is a material ladder, the sequence of events through which you will rise in society, you should try to do that, because the lower will follow the higher, but you should do it with a sense of no ambition, yes, but no greed, no expectation that yes, now this in this life, if I am on ladder number 1, I must come to ladder number 10, or ladder number 100, or step number 100. And for doing that, I will steal, I will lie, I will do all the wrong things, and then I will come. So what will happen? Although he has tried to step up the ladder, which was mentioned and it was wanted, but yet because having used the wrong methods, he will be bitten. Rather than ascending the ladder, he will be bitten by the snake in this game of snakes and ladders. So therefore so all the people must do certain duties in this world. Although this is a hobby of God, this duty, because this person who is playing the game right now has forgotten his soul nature, and he does not remember that this is a game or this is a dream drama, and this is just a play happening on the stage. It is because that character has forgotten, therefore he must do the best that is possible. And there is a veil that has been purposely kept there. His remembrance is certainly veiled consciously by God, because if everybody remembered immediately, then how will this drama operate, and how will the emotions of people come out? So it is an entertainer for God. And you may say, oh, God is this person who is not sympathetic, not compassionate, and he has cast us into this world, and he is having entertainment out of us. True and untrue at the same time. So yes and no at the same time. Why? Yes, it is true. Master said that you can pray to God that God, you have created me against my will, and now you must free me. And you are responsible for all this misery, all this suffering, or all the little joys that I'm going through. You are responsible and you must set me free. But on the other hand, the impersonal angle is this, that it is God who has become all of us. It is not that he is completely separate. He is not only transcendent, he is immanent. So if we are suffering, then he is suffering too. So God is not only impersonal, he is personal also. And he has set this whole stage and drama, and he has also kept the evolutionary uprising ladder. He has given us the free choice and intelligence. So the game is entertaining, but it is educating as well. It is more challenging. The more challenging the game, the more interested people are in playing it, the more you want it is, engrossing for you. Otherwise, there is no fun in it. If Master said, if this was heaven, and everybody was playing some beautiful music, and there were beautiful birds around everywhere, and everything could be manifested just by thought and will, and nobody ever fought with anybody, and everybody was very nice to everybody, then this would be a boring life. 1 day, 2 day, 1 week, 1 month, 1 year, you will live like this, and then you will be bored. And that is why this drama has to have these tragedies and comedies. This drama has to have a hero and a villain. It's just that we must, if we remember who we really are, if we remember that we are the transcendental soul and temporarily playing this role, then we will not suffer as much. Okay. Now, Master goes on to say, only fools take this life so seriously that they are constantly hurt. Now, introspect in yourself. Do you feel constantly a victim? A victim of circumstance, a victim of people, a victim of everything around you. This is bad, that is bad. So you have a list of complaints against the universe, against the country, against the politics, against the health system, against the education system, the environment, everybody around you, the driver next to you, in the car, the climate, everything. If you have this list of complaints, then simply Master is saying you are a fool. Because you are constantly hurt. Why? Because you are taking life so seriously. And it is because you are living only through your five senses that you feel that you are betrayed by God. You feel that you are being hurt. He says, the wise men look upon childhood, youth, old age, life, and death as passing dramas. Hence, everything entertains them. The Gita repeatedly warns man against egoistic attachment to the changing scenes of life, since attachment is the root cause of all human suffering. So, one important thing we must remember, if we are suffering right now, we are attached to something. So, even we cannot even be attached to good health, because even health will go sometimes. We cannot be attached to this body because the body is going to fall dead one day. We cannot be attached to relationships because people around us, even if they love us for some time, even they are going to die someday. Leave alone the betrayals that we have in this life, forget those. But even if people are loving around us, they are also going to die someday. The fact that we expect life to run in a particular way, we are attached to comfort, pleasure, and ease. That is the problem. And that is why we are suffering. Everything we think that everything that is easy, comfortable, and pleasurable is good. This has our own definition of good. But who said? In the larger scheme of life, it is only the difficult and the challenging times that awaken us to a higher understanding. The lessons that we truly learn in a life are coming only from the difficult times of our life. In good times, we don't even bother to thank God. We don't even bother to remember that there is a creator. It's only when we are suffering that, oh, creator, where are you? Why have you created this misery for me? And I am suffering so much and you don't even care for me. And why is this like this and that, so and so? All that story begins. So it is actually the difficult time in your life, which is the truly rewarding time, which is the one which will make you a man or a woman to your higher potential, or which will eventually take you beyond the man and the woman and to the genderless soul, to know that you are infinite and eternal. So be more thankful for the difficulties in your life rather than the pleasurable moments in your life, because it is the difficulties that will poke you to seek the truth. It is the difficulty which will make you turn towards God. And Guruji has clearly said that all those difficulties or trials that help you to turn towards God must be considered as the highest blessings of your life. Because otherwise you would have never turned towards truth. You would have never found this light which was always within you. You would have been like the musk deer, looking here and there for that pleasure, for that happiness, never knowing that it was within you, and then eventually ending your life also in the search of that bliss. So thank your difficulties. Thank God for sending appropriate difficulties. Now, difficulties in each person's life are slightly different. Why? Because each person's karmas, vasanas, desires, attachments are slightly different. Therefore, God uniquely creates those tests and challenges for you, which you need to overcome. And this is such a beautiful life. Just think of this game, how intricately it has been designed. And to each one's unique benefit, it has been designed. God is present in every atom of this universe. It is that cosmic intelligence, the Mahat Tattva, which is called in Sanskrit. He is in every atom of creation, and every atom has this I-ness, and this I-ness knows exactly where it needs to go and then merge into the final big I, or the self with the capital S, the Atma, the Paramatman. So just wonder, look at this life with a wondrous eye, with an awe, that wow, this is so beautiful, this is so amazing, this is beyond what any human can create. But of course, humans can perceive this truth, and that is the beauty. Okay. So then, of course, we understand that when Krishna is saying that you should not work with any attachment, then the question naturally arises that will we even want to work if there is no desire or attachment? Or what is the fun, or what is the use of working without any desire and attachment? To this, Guruji has an amazing reply. He says, the answer lies in the consideration of the things that we do for pleasure, without thought of gain or of fame. All duties performed under the compelling whip of material desire and attachment produce misery. But when they are worked out as a sort of hobby, without fear or craving for specific results, the incentive endures, yielding pure pleasure. So just like when we are children and we just, in child's play, we play a game. And we are not necessarily playing to be victorious in every time we are playing a game. But we are playing the game for the fun of it. And we are fully, passionately involved in that game, that we lose, we have timelessness. We are living in timelessness because we have no idea how much time is passing. We are so engrossed in that game, and we have only pleasure to derive from that game, and we are not really fixed on a specific gain from that game. So similarly, he says, now we are living this life. No point even asking why we are here. So Swamiji would say this, then you're running a marathon. And after running, sometimes you are asking your fellow runners, why am I running this game? There is no use of asking this question because you are running the game already. So although, of course, we can introspect and ask the real purpose of the game eventually, but once you are in the game, you might as well put your best in it. Whether you win or you do not win the marathon, you are running the game, so might as well think of how you can improve your performance in the game, because that will give you joy, that will give you confidence, that will build up your muscles, that will give you better breathing. If you are preparing yourself that how can I run this marathon better with a fully engrossed heart and mind so that I get joy out of this, then whether you win or not is immaterial, because right now only the journey has become joyful. And of course, there are set patterns, there are material duties, we have to fulfill responsibilities, but we get so engrossed with the responsibilities that we forget that every task can be done joyfully, that joy is gained on the journey and not only at the end. So, however deeply we are, engrossed in the daily life and difficulties and responsibilities which we have to fulfill, yet if we can do every task with attention, awareness, concentration, and with a willingness, a happy willingness, then that very task will give you that joy, and you will stop looking for a vacation which is coming in the future. So you will not look out for the future to have fun. You are having fun right now. And that is when your karma will become a karma yoga, because you are, involving God's joy, which is present inside of you. You are investing that joy rather than waiting for that joy to come to you at a future moment. And therefore, play it like a game and be easy with it. Why easy with it? Always keep reminding yourself that this is a dream drama. This is a dream drama. Because as soon as you remind yourself this, there is a subtle stepping back in your mind. So even when you are very, very excited in your life, don't be super excited. Again, remind yourself, this is a dream drama. This shall pass. And even when you are in the midst of sorrow, anger, irritation, tell yourself, this is a dream drama. This shall pass too. Nothing is going to be permanent. No point attaching to, clinging on to, or craving for things of this world, because none of them is going to last. Every moment, every minute, life is changing, turning, and therefore you must also learn to flow with it, always remembering your own truth as that changeless soul. And only then can you see life in the way that Master is explaining to us, like a dream drama, like an entertainer. We give it our best, but we don't expect. And then, of course, life becomes interesting. Just like when you go you go and watch a movie in the theater, and then when you come out, you're not expecting that those actors are going to come along. You suddenly like a hero or a heroine in the movie. You don't want to own that person because you know it's a movie and it's going to pass. So similarly, learn to be a witness of your own life, learn to see your own life from a third person point of view, and then have the education and entertainment from it. Don't live a sad life. a sad saint, a saint who is a sad saint. It was said like a nun who is sad is a sad nun, a monk who is sad is a sad monk. So it may sound silly statements, but who wants to be with a sad person? And who is that wise person who remains sad? Once you gain the wisdom of your soul and know that you are the source of all bliss in your life, then why will you be sad? If you are still sad, you have not realized that the source of all happiness lies within you. And you have been given the technique to access it. So I would say manufacture your own happiness by going within, by meditating. Why are you waiting for the world to give you happiness? You can manufacture your own happiness by using the very tool of the body, the breath and the mind, the mantra or the technique. And so you are your own industry. And once you will live a happy life, then what will happen? Then you are fulfilling what the Gita is saying. You are leading an exemplary life. You are shining your own light. And others who wish, if they want to, they can also follow your example. But first, learn to improvise, to improve, to use God's creativity in life, to see life as an entertainer and not feel like a victim. And a very interesting statement that Swamiji has made, he says that the way you see the world is a reflection of where you are living in your astral spine, in your spine. So which chakra? So are you an emotional person, or you are a stubborn person, or you are a complaining person? It all depends on from which chakra you are operating. And therefore, the meditation techniques that you have been given to us their aim is to bring us to the upper chakras. And what are the qualities of the upper chakras? The chakra for the throat chakra has the quality of calmness. So if you are not calm, means your upper chakras are not working well. Therefore, do your meditation and bring the energy to the upper chakras. If you can feel love more rather than being emotional, means you are working with the positive side of your heart chakra. If you can perceive the oneness with all creation, means your Agya chakra is getting active. So always check, what is my perspective to life? To which station is my radio tuned? Am I tuned to the sad radio station? Am I tuned to the emotional radio station? Am I tuned to the calm radio station? Am I tuned into the stillness of my own soul? So each one of us is responsible for this, or for our own attitudes, for the way we see life. And then we have to change where our attention is. Are we just looking at the misery of the world, or are we looking at the goodness of the world? Are we looking at what I can do to improve my life and to change this world? So each one of us needs a lot of homework, a lot of swadhyaya, a lot of introspection to look at our own lives, and our duty, it is our right and duty to improve it day by day, bring it to higher states of consciousness, bring it to upper chakras, and eventually take ourselves, with the help of God and Guru, take ourselves to self-realization, to nirvana, and to moksha. Then Guruji says, as an explanation, this is the final paragraph that we will do today. He says, when the yogi, by working with subtler laws instead of sense attachment, attains oneness with spirit, the Lord then exhorts him to continue to render proper service in the world, free of desire and attachment, to set an exemplary pattern for the inspiration and encouragement of others. So it is our duty, all of us, if we are children of God, if we are disciples of a great master, then the onus is also on all of us, that we must fulfill our duty to lead exemplary lives and to do what the scripture and what the Guru has asked us to do. Because only then, when we say hence proved in our life that yes, I can feel this unconditional joy, am able to love others unconditionally without judging them, I can include everybody in my own welfare. When I can do that, then you do not need to, really convince others to do that. a very important aspect of this shloka, said the second part of this shloka, which is the 27th shloka, is he says that do not confuse people, ignorant people, of their duties. So what does this mean? So suppose there is a person who is a student, who is ambitious and wants to get into a premier institute, is working hard, and he's working hard in the direction of academics. And here you come, you have some spiritual knowledge and you think you are enlightened, and you tell him that, you know, this world is a dream drama and therefore you should not work in this dream. No point doing so much hard work. What is the use of these temporary goals? The eventual goal is self-realization. Then you are actually pulling the carpet from under his feet. You are not to do this, because you have to understand the level of understanding of the other person. So therefore, an ignorant person should first be taught to do his dutiful actions, his material duties first in a proper way. And then only once he has become proficient in that, once he has become, you know, really, really efficient in that, then only can you tell him, okay, now do these material duties with non-attachment, with a dispassionate efficiency. So slow, it is a stepwise process. So do not influence other people with your words when we ourselves have limited understanding. And God is the parent of each soul. He knows what to do with each soul and what direction to show. So unless the person has an inner calling, do not try to influence other people. Just shine your own light. Be that good person, the good child of God, to your own best capacity, to your highest potential. And then everything else will fall in place. Okay. So with that thought, we will end today's class. And we will share the blessings that we have received with soul friends everywhere. Let us pray together. Divine Mother, beloved Krishna, thou art omnipresent. Thou art in all thy children. Manifest thy healing presence in all bodies, all minds, and all souls. Om. 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 Divine Mother, beloved Krishna, great Gurus, may thy love shine forever on the sanctuary of our devotion, and may we be able to awaken thy love in all hearts. Om Shanti, Shanti, Shanti.